Good afternoon, Quasar Markets Live. I hope everyone's having a good day today. The markets are still in a little bit of turmoil, but we have the perfect person on a day like today. We have Agnieszka Wood, our trading mindset coach at Quasar Markets Live. How you doing today, Agnieszka?
Hi, everyone. Hi, Howard. I'm doing well. Wednesday, with a report at 10 o'clock. We were all kind of waiting to see what's going to happen. But yeah, so far I can see it's really ranging, trying to choose the
Yeah, market's
direction,
not really doing
patience.
too much today. I do want to start right off the bat because it's coming up tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken.
That's right.
Is you are doing a free, and again, I'll quote those words free because so many people think there's always a catch to something. But a
Right.
free masterclass with two experts along with yourself, so three experts in the world of trading psychology and mindset. Can you tell us a little bit about what you have going on tomorrow?
Yes. So actually, the really cool thing is about the whole free part is that for some unexplained reason and making me feeling really humble is that Dr. Brett Steenbarger likes to do these classes with me and with other
Yeah,
professionals in trading psychology for free, which is absolutely fantastic. So anytime that I get this opportunity, of course, I grabbed it as tight as I can, and bring it to my audience because I think this is such a wonderful, an extraordinary opportunity to learn from someone of that caliber,
absolutely.
authority in trading psychology, and also getting the different perspectives from different coaches.
Right. And I
So
will mention you did one with Dr. Steenbarger, a
right.
month ago or so, and it was fantastic. And I loved it for that exact reason is you two do have very different ways that you sort of look at things. And it was great to hear from just more than one expert on some of it because different things, hit different people. In fact, I want to
Yes.
bring it back a little bit to today. And one thing I told you, I was a little frustrated with my friends today, so to speak. And that, I get a lot of people who ask questions, what's going on? What do you want? And what I'm finding is, and I wonder if you've run into this, people that are sort of permabulls are struggling right now. They don't want to
Right.
accept that we're sort of in a down rut and that you're, fighting momentum is a hard thing to do. And sure, there are bumps up, but you got to be really quick and nimble to play them. It's quite honestly the
Yeah.
better play right now on a lot of things has been to the downside. But my friends don't like to short. It just seems that way.
Yeah. And when you do not like to short, but the market has more the power to the downside, at least realize that you are short, that you are trading against the trend. So that might be something that will at least in a way save you, in a
Right.
sense that you might adjust your size, you might adjust your risk level, um, and the way that you trade and your bias, right? Because if you are just hoping for the best and you are trying to convince yourself, no, it's going to bounce, it's going to bounce, it's going to bounce, you might really get thousands of paper cuts just trying to catch the bottom
You just
and
nailed it, right?
making yourself believe
Exactly.
that it's
Is
going to bounce.
Yeah, I've been on the wrong end of that where, when I was a beginning Bitcoin trader for sure, I had a very bullish, bias to it and
Right.
times of, slides, I was buying all the dips and you can only buy the dips so many times and you know what? The market can dip more than I can dupe, so to speak. And eventually I would run out of money before the market ran out of
That's
downward
funny.
momentum.
Yeah,
So
I
I
cannot
learned the
tell you how
hard
many
way
times I
because
was riding the elevator down trying to long it.
yeah, you know what I look like? I'm that guy trying to get up the escalator that dropped his hat at the top of the stairs, and I'm trying to run and it's beating me down.
Right,
That's what you
right.
feel like. But
Yeah, but I mean, we're laughing about it, but it's really very frustrating if you are trading against the trend and you're done realizing and you're trying to convince yourself that you are doing the right thing. And unfortunately, like you can tell someone, but unless the other person listens or has the willingness to listen, they won't hear you.
Right. Well,
And
I was going to
that's
say,
like the
and if you don't have
confirmation
that
bias.
openness to start off with, which means to look into yourself and realize what your biases are so that you can, adjust them,
Yes,
or adjust your trading accordingly. It's fine. You can be a permabull. Like I always say, bulls win, bears win, pigs get
right,
slaughtered. In other words, don't just hold on for dear life, so to speak.
right.
So that's fine and it works, but you've got to understand that you have that bias, right? Sometimes, like we talk about, is looking within is the step that a lot of people don't like to make and understand, if you're, and it's something I think is important, is to realize in your own mind, are you generally a bearish or bullish trader?
Yeah, I think the developing the awareness where you are with your mind, so to say, with your bias, like what is it that you are expecting, right? Because that will define how you will be reacting to the market. It will define your decisions, your position sizing. That will define pretty much everything. Because if you convince yourself that something is gonna go, you're gonna, you know, load up on those shares. Because
Right.
why wouldn't you? If you convince yourself, and I had this interesting thing yesterday. We had in my group program, we had a session about beliefs and how they impact everything that you do. And what you see is that the reason why traders are making these irrational decisions is because how they talk themselves into it. And when you look at your own self-talk, how do you talk yourself into trades, you will notice that it doesn't seem to be irrational. Because if you tell yourself it's going to go, it's going to go, now it's going, it's go, yes, you are going to jump in, and later on you say, yeah, I was prematurely in a trade. Yes, but you convinced yourself that it's going, so it wasn't actually prematurely. Afterwards it looked, you come
Right.
down, you lost. Because I can tell you that if you would win on the trade, you wouldn't even look back.
Right. And in fact, that can be some of the worst things that happen to beginner traders, right?
Yes,
Is,
yes,
I happened to get into Bitcoin on one of its huge upswings and just thought I was brilliant.
right,
Anytime that it went down 2%, I bought as much as I could and it would shoot back up. And then I found out that markets
yeah,
don't only go up, despite what people were telling me at the time. So
yeah,
yeah, that's what we try to tell people, and you know, we're talking more about the mindset here, but it's also what we try to bring at Quasar Markets is an understanding that there's a lot of gray area that you can trade. There isn't just buying a stock or selling a stock. There are broken wing butterflies, and there are things that are slightly bullish with volatility in mind, or slightly bearish with volatility or mind, or you can run a collar where you think, hey, things aren't going to move very much. There's no volatility, or straddle. I think everything's going to go nuts. I just don't know which way it's going. So
yeah.
there are many ways to trade the market, and then we try to teach you that. But I do think first you got to get yourself mentally into the right state of understanding what your biases are, what you normally, and what makes you comfortable. Because for some people,
Yeah.
it's also about managing risk with that. It's a lot less risky to do a covered call than it is to even just buy an outright stock, quite honestly.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the really the key is how can you act in your best interest always? And that means, for me in trading, it means that you are looking always at yourself and say, what is the right decision for me? Right. So when you don't know where you are with your thinking, with your mindset, with your bias, then you're just trading blind. If you know what type of person you are, and you say, for example, I'm very risk averse, that will give you more information to what to trade, how to trade,
Right.
like, do you trade the volatile market or do you stay away? It will give you a little bit more confidence behind the decisions that you're making, without looking at other people and say, oh, I have to do what they're doing. No, you're a different type of person. So
And
respect
it's
that.
so important to understand, because there are so many people who get caught up into that hype, right? I need to
Yeah.
follow Trader X because Trader X has been so successful and I'm going to trade like Trader X. But if Trader X has a volatility, swing like myself, who's been in Bitcoin, and it doesn't bother me when it
Yeah.
moves $10,000 whatever, it's done it all the time, as to someone who has very low risk tolerance. They're not going
Right.
to want to trade what I trade, and I'm not
Yeah.
going to want to trade what they trade because it's going to bore the heck out of me.
Yeah. And that knowing yourself is such a key element for every single part of trading, like even for timing. Like, how do you align yourself with timing? Are you
Right.
someone who is always, in front of everyone else, the first one to go and try out new things? Are you the first one buying a new iPhone? Are you the trendsetter, or are you the trend follower? Because those little things, most people don't even realize how much they impact how you trade. Like, if you
Absolutely.
are always the first one to go, it might be much more challenging for you to be patient and to wait for the trade to develop and for the confirmation. Doesn't mean you are not allowed to enter on anticipation, but at least know what you're doing. Know
Right, and
where
set
are
your
you
risk
on that scale.
tolerances to it. You tailor your trade.
Exactly.
There's
Yeah.
where you'd rather die by 1,000 paper cuts, so to speak. So you're going to keep a
Yeah.
tighter,
Yeah.
material there than the other, and then wait for the
Yeah.
momentum to swing in your favor. Yeah, I think that's so important. I'd go back to what you spoke about in the conference that you were at last, I think 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago.
Mhm.
About the triangle. So, we sort of
Yes.
just talked about where we're entering the trade. Could you talk a little bit about those two different forces that kind of weigh on us once we're
Yeah.
in the trade?
Yeah. There are actually three that make the whole triangle, and those two forces are the forces that most traders are confronted with, like, sort of consciously. So the pressure that comes from the market, the external chaos, because there is uncertainty, there is risk, there is unpredictability. There's a lot of things going on that we are not used to deal with and handle in our daily life, where we try to have securities and insurances and kind of make sure that we can control the external environment, even though we
Right.
can't, but we have the feeling that we can. In the market, we all say we know we can control the market. We know it. But most traders are still trying to do it instead of learning how to deal with those conditions, how to adjust to those conditions and learn to operate. They are still sort of saying, yeah, I know I cannot control the market, but I'm going to try anyway. So
Right.
that's one of the things. And the second part of the forces are the internal forces, and this has to do with you, with yourself. How do you react internally to those conditions? Like, what are your triggers? What are your mental triggers? What are your emotional triggers? How is your body functioning in those conditions? And is it supporting you, or is it working against you? Like, your beliefs, for example, right? Are those limiting you in your potential as a trader, or is it something that is empowering you? And then the third force that normally is not being seen as a force that is limiting traders is the freedom. And this is the freedom that most traders want when they enter the market. This is the freedom of choice. I want to be my own boss. I want to be financially independent because I want to do whatever I want. I want to go wherever I want at any time, and nobody tells me what to do. You have that freedom as a trader. Nobody has to tell you what to do. And what do? You go and look for someone to tell you what to do, to tell you what to trade, when to enter. You completely give that freedom away, and it's not working, because this is not how trading is working, for you to go somewhere to tell someone to tell you what to do.
Right.
And as a trader, you made a declaration, I'm becoming a trader because I don't want anyone to tell me what to do. So don't go and look for someone to tell you what to do.
Absolutely.
Learn from someone how to fish, but don't expect someone to tell you, here is the fish, here, and here you have to just go and grab it, right?
Right, because it
Very
doesn't
different.
work. Like we said, there's too many other,
Yeah.
parts. Every person's triangle is very different, and
Yes.
trying to fit it's almost like trying to fit a square into that triangle, right?
Yes, exactly.
So,
And so that's just one part, right? And then you have all the freedom to make your own decision and your time. You have the time to trade as little as you can, so you can actually do other things in life. What do? You spend hours and hours in front of the computer and trying to push it and force it and work harder. And you see it's not working. Stop doing what's not working. Start
Right.
looking into, why is it not working? How can I change that? So
You hit on a
handing
very
those three
important part
forces.
there too, is that we people don't do that. They think, and we've talked about this in the past. A lot of us come from sort of that background where we were, overachievers maybe in athletics or academics or
Yeah,
whatever it might be, and we feel that we can work harder to get better, so to speak. And if
yeah,
I just sit in front of this computer and I put a few more X's on my chart and draw this line, then I'll be a
yeah.
better trader. And I think you and I both agree that that never seems to work, right?
No, and
Right.
during the master class, I will be actually talking about how to do it different way. Because yes, most traders are high achievers. They have been successful in either having their own business or build a successful career, and they come into trading, and it's like, why is this not working? Like, I
Right.
know for myself, I just, my mind was completely blown up. Like, me, why can I
Yeah.
not make this
Well,
work?
when we
You
hear it,
know?
this market, whenever someone starts off a conversation with this market, that's where I'm like, okay,
Right,
it's not the market. Let's start there. The
right.
market is
Yeah.
market doesn't care. It doesn't have emotion. It, like, again, it will just
It's
take your money
it's
either
not
way.
personal. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not personal. And I think that the way that we usually achieve success and the way that we are existing in our private life is very personal, because
Yeah.
usually we give value to ourselves through what we achieve, through what we become. In trading, you gain value through the growth as a trader, as a person. This is your valuation. You become more valuable when you learn, and trading gives you the possibility. Every time you make a mistake, you have the opportunity to learn, meaning increase your value. But we are so used to giving ourselves value through what we have, what we make, what title we have, that we are bringing it into trading, and that translates into the money. And that is such a destructive force, because it
Right.
goes up and down. I'm great, I'm terrible. I'm great, I'm terrible. I'm great. And it just shakes you.
Yeah,
It
the
just
emotional roller
completely
coaster
gets
that
away.
comes from it, if and
Yeah,
again, we keep going back to a few points, is you first got to figure out your risk tolerance, because otherwise that gets exasperated even more, right? If you've
yes.
got a low risk tolerance and you're seeing these wide swings in your account on a daily basis, that just it exasperates the problem, and it just becomes, it steamrolls very quickly when you're a trader.
Yeah, yeah,
And that's
absolutely.
why 87% of day traders, eventually do crash their account out.
Yes. And the preparation is really like preparing yourself for those working conditions, preparing yourself, like internally knowing where you stand, what is it that is standing you in your way, and gradually working on those things too, because it doesn't happen overnight. You know what I
Right.
mean? It's like, for example, with beliefs, like most people have built their belief system for 40 years, and
Right.
now they come into trading, and yes, there are things in there like working hard is going to make me more successful. Those things are standing you in your way, and yes, you can switch the perspective very quickly and start thinking in a different way, but then you still need the discipline to build your habits, to
Right.
make sure that something that you do actually become your habit. So if you have been trading for a long time, you probably have built some bad habits, and the longer you keep doing those same things, the habits become stronger. So don't
Sure.
expect that with time this is going to change. No, with time this is going to get stronger, and you will have to
You
put more work
reinforce the
into
issue,
it.
right? You
Yeah,
actually make it even tougher to break away, the
yeah,
longer you do it. So that's why, it is so important to take a look within. You talk about it. Journaling is something that I am not a huge fan of personally doing, but that I've started to do just in a small way, because it really is important to you realize stuff. Hey, I had a good day, but market was actually weak today. this, I had a bad day, but market was strong. You can start to see patterns where maybe there is something that is what your preconceived notion of the market was going to be for a day versus how it played out. Did you react well? Did you not react well? Those are the, I don't, like I said, I don't do a lot. It's about a 1-minute conversation that I talk into my phone, but it gives me and I just do the same data every day. How did the market sort of go? How did I play the market during that day? And how were my results?
Yeah, like really looking into like what is it that the market is triggering me. And I can tell you, if you dare to be honest with yourself, and it's a habit. Lying to yourself, it's a habit. Being honest with yourself, it's a habit too.
Okay.
I can tell you that being honest with yourself gives you much more profit and much more profitability than lying.
Absolutely. And probably a lot more happiness too.
Yeah, as my mom said, lying has very short legs. It always comes out very quickly, So lying to yourself is like the worst thing that you can do to yourself as a trader, because integrity will help you stick to your plan. And your plan is your insurance policy in the market, really, because you don't know what's going to happen. But if you have a plan, you at least know what can happen if you plan your trade and you trade your plan.
Sure.
So that is something that automatically gives you a little bit more confidence of, okay, no matter what the market does, this is what I know that I'm going to do. And this is also appeasing your nervous system so that you don't go into that shock and freeze and, start doing.
And you hit on a key thing there. It's A, have a plan. And then B, be honest with yourself. Did you trade your plan? Because I think that is a disconnect that some traders have, where they have the best intentions going in, but then they realize they weren't able to follow the plan. And
that's like one of the biggest.
Right. That is, it goes back to that Seinfeld. Anyone can take a reservation, but holding the reservation is the key part. Anyone can take. And it's the same way there. Is you can have the best plan, but if you're not going to execute against it, then you got to be honest, because maybe it's adjusting your plan because, again, it doesn't fit your psyche, your risk tolerance, why. Then you can start to dig deeper and talk to someone like yourself to maybe find out why that is that's happening. And with that being said, again, if you could tell everybody a little bit about what you have going on tomorrow. I've gone the one step further to click in so they can see the masterclass and the sign up sheet.
Yes. So if you go to my website, there is a pop-up. You can sign up for the masterclass with Dr. Brett Steenbarger and Alex Cherhanovich from Tradefulness and myself. And each of us will talk for 15 minutes. So give you really hands-on advice and tips of what is working in trading psychology, from trading psychology perspective, to help your trading and to overcome the obstacles. And then there will be time for Q&As after each speaker. So you will get a really nice broad overview from different approaches, and you can pick whatever suits you the best. Alex will be touching upon using AI in trading psychology, which I am personally really excited about.
Mind-blowing to me. Yeah, that's what I'm excited to hear about that tomorrow.
Yes. So, just join us. It's completely free. And if you cannot join, register anyway, because we will be giving access to the replay, but only to people who register. So
awesome.
If you want the replay, you cannot join. It's tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern time, so lunchtime. If you don't want to, watch the market and then watch the paint dry,
take a break. Take a break from the market is what you should do, and watch Agnieszka. Again, I have it down on the bottom of the screen where you can find her website. That is where the link to this is. So please go ahead and sign up. Again, it's worth that hour of your day tomorrow to find out more from 3 experts in the field that are giving you their time, again, for free. I can't stress that enough. This is something that, in my opinion, would be a $200 to $300 ticket to come see them talk at a conference or whatever. So getting it for free is amazing. Agnieszka, thank you so much for joining us, like always. I will see you tomorrow there. I'll be tuning in for sure at noon, and then we'll see you back on Monday.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Howard, and I look forward to seeing you there. Bye.